Week 11 recap, collision course. All right, all right. Welcome back to another DNS address. Week 11 was about responses. Miami responds to its first major setback by hanging 59 points on a top 10 opponent. Central Michigan made a statement in the latest DNS user matchup. Texas State and the Chippewas moved one win away from bowl eligibility. Georgia Southern, Troy, and South Florida all reached 9 victories. And now, two of the best teams in the dynasty are officially on a collision course. Number 23, Georgia Southern at Troy. Coach versus coach. 9-1 versus 9-1. Let's get into it. The headline of the week, though, is Miami answers the call. Last week, Miami walked in the South Bend, ranked number 2 in the country. The Hurricanes left with the loss, and questions about whether their playoff run was beginning to fall apart. This week, Miami answered every question with points. Number 11, Miami, defeats number 10, Duke, 59-35. Mensah threw for 410 and 5 tutties. Fletcher carried the ball 31 times for 183 yards and 3 scores. Toney caught 7 passes for 186 yards and 3 touchdowns. Cooper added 152 yards and 2 more scores. That is 338 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns between 2 receivers. Miami did throw 2 interceptions, including a 48-yard pick six, but the Hurricanes never stopped attacking. Coach Noodle's team improved to 8-2, climbed to number 8 in the country, enters the college football playoff bracket at number 8 seed. Next week, number 22, Virginia Tech, comes to Miami. The margin for error is still small, but the Hurricanes are officially back in control of their playoff picture. Central Michigan dominates the user matchup this week. The Week 11 matchup was expected to be a fight. Central Michigan had other plans. The Chippewas defeat Sacramento State 41-10. Angel Flores completed 21 of 24 passes for 334 and 4 touchdowns. Vaughn Blue scored 2, produced 130 total yards. Tommy McIntosh turned 3 receptions to 127 yards and a touchdown, and Victor Earl delivered one of the best defensive performances of the week. 6 tackles, 2 for loss, an interception, a pass breakup, a forced fumble. Central Michigan improves to 5-5 and moves 1 victory away from bowl eligibility. Sacramento State falls to 4-7 and has been officially eliminated from postseason contention. Coach Nelson, that wasn't just a victory, it was a message. Troy survives the rivalry. Rivalry games are rarely comfortable. Troy learned that against South Alabama. The Trojans survived 35-32. Goose Crowder threw 3 touchdowns. Gavin Griffin added 71 yards rushing and a score. Jordan Love carried the offense, 34 carries, 188 rushing yards, 5 receptions, 2 total touchdowns, and the Sun Belt Offensive Player of the Week honors. Troy improves to 9-1, and there is no time to celebrate because next week the Trojans host another 9-1 team, and this one is controlled by another DNS coach. Georgia Southern escapes Atlanta. Georgia Southern traveled to Georgia State, survived in a rivalry fight of its own. The Eagles win 28-21. Max Johnson threw 2 touchdowns, also tossed 2 interceptions. Terrence Gibb produced 95 total yards and a touchdown. The offense did enough. The defense made sure it held. Jakari Brown earned Sunbelt Defensive Player of the Week honors after recording an interception and 2 pass breakups. Georgia Southern improves to 9-1. The Eagles are ranked number 23 and currently hold the number 12 seed in the college football playoff bracket. But none of that matters unless they survive next week. Georgia Southern at Troy. 9-1 against 9-1. Coach Bennett against Coach Burnett. Built, not given against one of the most physical teams in the dynasty. Our stock ups this week, we have Miami. A week after falling to Notre Dame, Miami responds by scoring 59 against a top 10 opponent. This is how playoff teams answer adversity. Central Michigan on the way up. The Chippewas dominate a user matchup and move to 5-5. One more win, and Central Michigan goes bowling. Texas State defeats Fresno State 31-21. Jalen Jenkins carried the football 37 times for 242 yards and 2 touchdowns. That performance earned him Conference Offensive Player of the Week honors. Texas State improves to 5-5 and is now also one win away from bowl eligibility. South Florida, the Bulls beat Memphis 46-37. Alvin Isaac rushed for 214 yards and 2 touchdowns. DJ Crowther added another 137. Jaden Alexis returned a punt, 72 yards for a touchdown. South Florida improves to 9-1, climbs the number 24 in the nation. Troy and Georgia Southern, both programs are 9-1. Both remain in the playoff picture, and now they're about to settle an argument on the field. The need more film this week is Georgia Tech. Clemson defeats Georgia Tech 48-20. Mendoza threw for 399 and 2 tutties. Harris finished with 159 receiving yards, but the Yellow Jackets could not establish the run, turned the football over twice. Georgia Tech falls to 6-4. The bowl bid is secure, but the Yellow Jackets need to regain momentum against Wake Forest. Mississippi State fought Auburn until the end, but fell 27-21. Fluff rushed for 136 yards and 2 tutties. The defense battled 3 interceptions from the QB room was too much to overcome. The Bulldogs fall to 2-8. Northern Illinois. Nevada defeats Northern Illinois 34-7. The Huskies used 3 quarterbacks. The result was 4 interceptions and only 1 touchdown. Northern Illinois is now 0-10. Coach Breesy. North Dakota State is next. There are 2 games left to change how your season is remembered. Arkansas State, the Red Wolves come within 2 points of Coastal Carolina, but fall 33-31. Trey Owens threw for 281. Kenyon Clay scored 2. Van Andel drilled a 50-yard field goal, and 2 interceptions proved costly again. Arkansas State falls to 2-8. Our Week 11 awards, our Offensive Player of the Week is halfback Jalen Jenkins from Texas State with 37 carries, 242 yards, 2 touchdowns. Texas State needed a victory to keep its bowl hopes alive, and Jenkins carried the Bobcats one step closer. Our Defensive Player of the Week is Will linebacker Victor Earl from Central Michigan. 6 tackles, 2 for loss, an interception, a pass breakup, a forced fumble. Victor Earl helped Central Michigan dominate the latest user matchup. Our Built Not Given award this week belongs to Miami. The Hurricanes had every reason to feel sorry for themselves. They'd fallen from 2 to 11. Their playoff security was gone. A top 10 opponent was coming into town. Miami didn't hide. Miami attacked. 59 points, 8 offensive touchdowns, and a return to the college football playoff bracket. Coach Noodle, that response was built. It was not given. Our Heisman watch, there's still no movement at the top. Miami wide receiver Malachi Toney remains number 1, and after 186 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns against Duke, he strengthened his case. Mark Fletcher Jr. remains third. He added 183 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns in the same game. Miami does not just have 2 Heisman contenders right now. Miami may have 2 of the most dangerous offensive players in the entire dynasty. Our college football playoff watch, 2 DNS programs are currently in the bracket. Number 8, Miami. The Hurricanes entered at number 8 at 8-2. Miami controls its own path but can't afford another loss. Number 23, Georgia Southern. The Eagles currently hold the 23rd spot at 9-1. Georgia Southern's built one of the strongest records in the dynasty, but the next game can change everything because Troy is also 9-1 and waiting at home. Our bowl eligibility watch, already bowl eligible, is Miami, Georgia Southern, South Florida, Old Dominion, Troy, and Georgia Tech. 1 win away, Central Michigan and Texas State at 5-5. Eliminated from contention, Northern Illinois, Mississippi State, Sacramento State, and Arkansas State. But we have more football to play. Our Week 12 preview and our game of the week is Number 23, Georgia Southern at Troy. This is the biggest DNS matchup this year. Both teams 9-1. Both teams run the football. Both teams play physical defense. Both teams believe they belong in playoff conversation. One will leave with 10 wins. The other will leave with its championship path permanently changed. Number 22, Virginia Tech at number 8, Miami. Miami survived Duke. Now the Hurricanes must do it again against another ranked opponent. Number 24, South Florida at Florida Atlantic. The Bulls are 9-1 and climbing. A road rivalry is the last place to lose focus. Central Michigan at Buffalo. One win sees the Chippewas bowling. Washington State at Texas State. One win sends the Bobcats bowling around the league. The rest of the games, Georgia Tech hosts Wake Forest. Northern Illinois travels to North Dakota State. Mississippi State hosts FCS Southeast. Arkansas State hosts Louisiana Tech. Old Dominion returns from its bye at UConn. And Sac State gets the week off. Commissioners picks this week. Miami survives Virginia Tech. South Florida handles Florida Atlantic. Central Michigan earns its bowl eligibility against Buffalo. Texas State reaches 6 against Washington State. Old Dominion returns from the bye with a victory. Georgia Tech bounces back against Wake Forest. And the game of the week, no comment. In closing, ladies and gentlemen, the easiest part of the season is over. Miami's back in the playoff picture. Georgia Southern's inside the bracket. Troy is waiting for its opportunity. South Florida continues to climb. Central Michigan and Texas State are 1 win away from the bowl eligibility. And next week, 2 DNS coaches with championship dreams on the line. There will be no simulators. There will be no excuses. And nobody has nowhere to hide. Protect the football, finish every tackle, win the fourth quarter, and when the pressure arrives, show everyone what your program was built to become. In the Department of Natural Selection, you select, we collect, built, not given.